It's been a long time ballin'. Fresh new ties, I'm still ballin'. It's a few things I'm overcoming, like the cost. Hi. The name is Arexi Pukanikan, and we're ballin' today, tomorrow, most definitely yesterday. At what cost? Ladies and gentlemen, it is officially International War Week. That's right. In the UFC, it might be International Fight Week, but in the world, it's International War Week. And to be fair, in the Formula One world, wars can begin this weekend. We're in Austria. We're at the Redbull Ring, which is quite famous for clashes. Sometimes violent, sometimes controversial, sometimes brutal. But it's going down this week. Hey, dude, this might be the last episode of Ballin' at What Cost, man. Okay, so before we think about those bad thoughts, let's just get into what is going down this weekend, because I got to get straight to the point. There's a lot going down this weekend, all right? It is also my last work week as well, so summer holiday is officially starting with this weekend for me. And actually, personally, for me, things can't get better. I mean, it's pretty wonderful, but it's just, we might end up in a global nuclear holocaust. But that's just, that's just what it is. I can't do anything about it. So, all right, let's get into it. Austria this weekend for Formula One. Now, let's just break this down real quick. Out of the top 5 drivers in the Drivers' Championship rankings, the least amount of point differential is between George Russell and Max Verstappen. They've got 19 points between them. That's it. World War III can wait, because I need these two dudes to battle it out first. All right, there's a lot going on in this world, but let's just pause it for a second. Let's just see what happens with George Russell and Max Verstappen first. Then we can start dropping bombs, nukes, whatever, right, on innocent lives. That's fine. Okay, it's about to get dark, okay? But this is all analogies. We're all having fun here. This is for the sake of sports. This is for the sake of balling at what cost. I need Max and George to just completely lose their bullocks against each other. Kind of like how Israel and Iran are just going at each other right now. This is what I want for George Russell and Max Verstappen. Because it's clear that George has this consistency that is always on point. And Max Verstappen is, at the end of the day, the 4-time champion. All right? And the defending champion. And even though the Red Bull might not be the fastest car right now, at least on Saturdays, it does look pretty damn fast, especially with Max Verstappen driving in it. So let's just hold, Iran, Israel, US, anyone, let's just hold on a sec. Let's just not press the big red button just yet, because I need these two guys to go at it first. All right, let's just pause it for a second. Let's just wait. Because if that happens, then maybe either the positive is, George Russell and Max Verstappen freaking collide into one another. And because of this, then maybe it solves the world political issues. And if not, if it doesn't solve the problem, at least it softens the blow. For me, I'm just a dumbass Formula One fan. Maybe if they collide together, I won't care about the possible imminent global nuclear holocaust. That's it. My mind can just go somewhere else. I go, no way, George Russell. No way, Max Verstappen, right? That's what I'll be saying while the rest of the world just fucking presses the big red button. Everyone gets blown into smithereens. That's the truth right there. Oh, yeah. So let's get that sorted out first. All right. That's what I'm looking forward to the most this Sunday. I had to get that out of the way. But also another guy that kind of I'm just like loyal to. And it's like unwavering faith I have in this guy. Kind of like with me in China. I will always, being a Chinese man, I will always be loyal to China as a country. And with that being said, Carlos Sainz Jr., I mean, he's the man. He's the guy for me in Formula One that I have this unwavering faith. And Carlos Sainz top 5 finish is going to go down in Austria now. All right, because Austria isn't super technical, right? It's just all about big balls, speed, and, with the George Russell, Max Verstappen, and everything else, people, just the top teams battling it out. Maybe some crazy shit happens. Let's just be fair. And with that being said, good karma is on Carlos Sainz's side. It's incredible how unlucky Carlos Sainz has been getting, right? And now, finally, all he needs to do is sit patiently. That's all he can do, man. He needs to just be patient. He just needs to wait for the good karma to be on his side. And that's the way it's been with China. China's just been, they know what they're capable of, but they're just chilling. They're just chilling while everybody else, blows each other up. We're going to just chill out here for a second. And then when the opportunity arises, bam, we got a top 5 finish to bounce back. That would pretty much instantly put Carlos Sainz close, if not in the top 10 of the driver standings, which right now he's ranked, P14 or something like that, P15, which is just unbelievable. Like, seriously unbelievable. Like, there should be no reason why he's there. And the only reason why is because he's just had horrendous luck. Carlos Sainz sitting at P13. I mean, think about it. Nico Hülkenberg and Lance Stroll and freaking Esteban Ocon are ahead of this guy. Like, come on, what are we doing here? What are we doing? All right, so slowly this hype is going to start flipping over to his side, and Carlos Sainz, top 5, no problemo. And then after this weekend, hopefully, will be in the top 10 of the driver standings, where you deserve to be. Now let's flip it on to more of the front field. Definitely the front field. This would be the race where Lando needs to dominate the weekend. realistically after the Canadian disaster that he had, which he took full responsibility for. No extra drama. It was a dramatic moment, but nothing really, at least publicly, nothing really spiraled out of control. He owned up to it. All good, no problem. Everybody forgives him. We're good. However, if you take the blame on kind of like a stupid move that you did, buddy, I think you got to bounce back with a dominant weekend. And he's always been super duper fast in Austria. He picked up his first podium in Formula One in Austria. I think he just needs to piece the puzzle together and bring the fight to Max Verstappen, who I think that's the two favorites I have right now for, the pole position or to win the race. The favorites in my eyes is Max Verstappen or Lando Norris. Very, very small margins. Qualifying is going to be insane because I think it's going to be very, very close, especially with the top three. And yeah, that's all there is to it. Lando Norris just needs to, get back at Oscar Piastri points wise in the driver's standings. But like I said, Lando needs to worry about Max in this race. Like that's that. He, if Lando Norris is the IDF, the Israeli military, right now Max Verstappen is Iran and Piastri is Palestine. The main goal is to overtake Piastri, aka Palestine, but right now, this week, we got to shift the focus on Max Verstappen. All right? Max is going to be, dude, and that's the whole thing right now. Palestine Piastri. Palestine Piastri is going to sit back and take a breather. Okay? Max Verstappen, Iran, and IDF Lando Norris, they got their own thing going this week. That's it. This week, let them battle it out. All right, Palestine Piastri is going to sit back and just take the breather. And like I said, Lando Norris, IDF, military-wise, he's stronger, right? Like I said, McLaren, really, really strong, is the fastest car on the grid right now. So let's kind of worry about Iran. Let's worry about Max Verstappen. And let's, figure that out for this weekend. Because Piastri's Piastri, dude. Like, that's like another worry. That's like second half of the season type of worry. Let's just actually for once get a dub on the board. I'm not saying anything politically, okay? But Lando Norris needs to get a dub on the board when it comes to just battling it out with Max Verstappen, just racing it out. And if he can do that, then let's just go back to Palestine Piastri and then try to overtake him in the driver's standings. All right. That's the analogy I could give to the situation right now. And it's going to be wonderful. It's going to be wonderful. But right now, of course, everyone's kind of just from the outside perspective, let's just see what Lando Norris is going to get up to. Because the ball's really in their court. All right. So yeah, Lando Norris, let's just take care. let's just take care of Maximilian Iran right now. Oh my God, yeah. This freaking channel might get taken down after this episode, but that's ballin'. And you gotta stay ballin'. All right, next up, my hopes, and I haven't talked about this guy in a while. Haven't really mentioned his name since Imola, because I think it is one of those, you just got to stew this pot. You got to cook it down. But Yuki Tsunoda, I really do hope that he finally has a strong weekend, especially in his, Red Bull home race. And Yuki Tsunoda has always just been with the Red Bull teams. And I hope in a twisted way that it's just strong enough to battle it out with Isaac Hadjar. Like, that would be fun, right? Like a little civil war going. Let's get a little civil war going, okay? Like a full-blown Red Bull world war at the Red Bull Ring. Let's do it. Internal beef, let's do it. All right. Either way, I'm not saying they're going to start firing shots at each other, right? The likeliness that these guys are going to be racing next, wheel to wheel in Austria is, honestly, if Yuki Tsunoda has a decently strong weekend, I think they could be kind of close. This is why I kind of said it, because Isaac Hadjar always has the potential to be in the, the P10 to P7 range. And I think for Yuki Tsunoda, a strong weekend would be somewhere around that range, maybe a little bit closer. Who knows? But, yeah, man. And if it doesn't go that way, let's just have the full-blown Red Bull war. A kamikaze from Yuki Tsunoda or a French complaint to the stewards to really beef up the Red Bull war at the Red Bull Ring. I think that would actually fulfill me with utter joy, or utterly fulfill me with joy. Let's put it that way. Real spicy stuff. All right, last but not least, let's go to the Big Daddy. Now, if we're talking about global superpowers, we know who the Big Daddy is. Just like in Formula One, if we talk about the Big Daddy, it is Ferrari. And in the world, the Big Daddy is the US, right? Now, this is going to be a longer analogy. I need you guys to stick with me, but trust me, I'm cooking a little bit. Trust me. Yes, Ferrari, aka USA, are competing with other teams, which means like the US are focused on foreign conflicts, right? They're focused on that. But the real issue with the US and also with Ferrari is what's going on inside their own borders, within their own walls. What's going on in there? All right, there's a lot of stuff on Vasseur's plate. The press is coming at him about him possibly getting fired. Right, Charles Leclerc has had another roller coaster ride start to the season. So has Lewis Hamilton in his new team with Ferrari. Just like the U.S., man. Like the U.S., you have the poverty problem, you have the mental health problem, you have the physical health problem, and then you have the border issue. Right? Yes, Ferrari is competing with the other teams. Yes, U.S. is, involved in foreign conflicts. But really, the issue is inside the team. The real issues that you might have to focus on first is the things inside the U.S. border. Now, I'm talking some real facts right now. And let me get to this point. Let's just say Charles Leclerc represents a part of the U.S., a certain demographic of the U.S., and let's just say Lewis Hamilton also represents another demographic demographic of the U.S. This is all analogies. This is all, poetic shit right here, right? Charles Leclerc, within the Big Daddy, right? Is the Tech Oligarchs. Looks suspiciously good. Like it's suspicious, like Charles Leclerc is suspiciously handsome. Just like how, all of a sudden, Jeff Bezos and, like Mark Zuckerberg, they all of a sudden look like pretty good now. Like when they were broke as shit, like they were just nerdy looking geeky guys, right? With barely any focus on physical health. And look at them now, right? So that's Charles Leclerc. It's the Tech Oligarchs. You look suspiciously good. You have a beautiful angel of a partner, right? I mean, look at Jeff Bezos' wife, right? Smoking lady. But sometimes these tech oligarchs and sometimes Charles Leclerc demands more than what the team or the country can give them. Sometimes the tech oligarchs want even more power. And the country goes like, yeah, okay. Well, the government goes like, all right, let's just chill out a little bit. Same thing for Charles Leclerc. Charles demands more, but Ferrari is just like, here's what we got. This is what we can give you. I don't know about, consistently winning Formula One races. But hey, something. It's always something. Like, tech oligarchs have gotten like ridiculously rich. Charles Leclerc gets a win or two every now and then during the season, right? That's Charles Leclerc in Ferrari. That's the tech oligarchs in the U.S. Now let's go to the Lewis Hamilton of the U.S., right? Lewis Hamilton is the impoverished African American community. How dare you? How dare you? I know this has nothing to do with Lewis Hamilton's skin color. Okay, maybe a little bit. Lewis Hamilton in Ferrari, like the impoverished African American community in the U.S., gets constantly stepped on. The government or the team don't take them seriously at all. Right? That's the main issue right here with Lewis Hamilton and Ferrari. It seems as though they're not even taking the guy seriously. Right? He's like, okay, we paid you a boatload of money. Now do as you're told. And that's kind of like how the U.S. government kind of treats some African American communities, where it's just like, here's your food stamps, right? Here's the government funded houses or whatever the hell there are, the sections or whatever the hell. Look, I'm smart. I swear, I'm intelligent. I'm educated. I'm fit to talk about subjects that are this serious. And that's the whole thing. The whole thing is the government won't take the African American community as seriously as the tech oligarchs. Ferrari is never going to take Lewis Hamilton as seriously as Charles Leclerc. Tell me, bro, tell me in the comment section right now if I'm not cooking up some shit. I'm cooking up the fucking truth right now, all right? This is probably the best freaking literary work that I've written since fucking high school. Okay, this is insane right now. This is insane. But yet, the African American community, but yet, Lewis Hamilton is actually physically capable of dominating anyone that competes against him. That's the truth. That's the truth. Whenever it's a freaking African American community that protests, oh boy, they're going to make sure that there's actually going to be change. All right. And let's just say that Lewis Hamilton can actually just be the best. Like, he can obviously be as good, if not better, than Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari. With all this being said, with all of these analogies being said, what is the perfect world that we are striving for? We got to close the gap. We got to close the gap between tech oligarchs and the impoverished African American community. And we have to close the gap between Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton if we want even a sliver of a chance of taking P2 for the constructors' standings and winning a few races this season with the Ferrari. Because right now, we're closing in on halfway through the season, and it's been a couple podiums for Charles Leclerc, and that's about it. Right? No one is going. There is a Michael Jordan in the U.S., right? Just like Lewis Hamilton won that sprint race in China. But now, still, big picture, nobody gives a shit. So Big Daddy US, Big Daddy Ferrari, let's start slowly closing the gap between the tech oligarchs and the African American community and Ferrari with Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton. That's that. Bam. God, I feel good about it. God, I feel great, man. I feel great. World War III is about to start, but I feel great. We're balling at what cost? Okay. Predictions for this weekend. To be fair, I think these two are going to happen. The Sainz top 5 finish and Piastri wins one of the races that I predicted he's going to win 2 at least through June, July. Canada went the way it did. George Russell masterclass, and Piastri couldn't really fight that too much. But let's just say on qualifying day, Saturday, I do think it's going to be Max Verstappen or Lando Norris on pole position, right? I'm going to be insanely surprised if Oscar Piastri gets pole position on Saturday. He has cemented himself as the fucking man. That's all I'm going to say, because I do think it's very hard to go against Lando Norris and Max Verstappen one lap around Austria. It's tough. It's a tough ask. So with that being said, Red Bull at the Red Bull Ring, Max Verstappen, I think he's fresh. He's rejuvenated. Spent some time with the lady, the baby. Everything's great with him now. I do think that it's going to be tough to take a pole position away from Max Verstappen in Austria on Saturday with so much home support and Red Bull support, everything. Let's go with the safe bet. Let's go with Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen. Yes, sir. But I do predict that it's going to be a way closer qualifying session than we predict. I mean, and for reals, like something like Carlos Sainz or somebody can just pull some insane stuff. I do think this is going to be one of those chaotic races. I hope it is. I hope it's full-blown chaos, so it makes me forget that we might enter World War III. And for the win, hey, bro. Free Gaza, we on the corner like Israelites. Word to Earl Sweatshirt. Free Palestine. Palestine Piastri, I think, is going to weave through this thing, come out strong, come out victorious. Palestine. Like, this is the whole thing. Like, I try to explain something like, like the ultimate dream is obviously one day to be able to, like, let's just say you get enough fame or you just contributed enough in like the media aspect of the sport that you get invited to the paddock one day to meet the drivers and the blah, blah, blah. Me putting out this type of episode automatically cancels it out forever. Like, it's never going to happen. So I will after I put this episode out, I am always just going to have to get rich enough to be able to get myself a paddock club ticket or something like that and pay for a Formula One race weekend myself. So Formula One, FIA, I love you, but this is just what it is, okay? This is balling at what cost? So Piastri, and Piastri knows this is a joke. If there's anyone, it's Piastri that understands this is all a joke. This is all good entertainment. This is a character, if anything. So, Palestine Piastri. Oh, I didn't have that written down. It's so beautiful. Palestine Piastri. Jesus fucking Christ. Oh my God. Oh my God. You know what? Honestly, now I really do deserve to get freaking bombed into oblivion. Jesus. Jeez Louise. But that's what we got going down in the Formula One world this weekend. But how about International Fight Week? How about International Warrior Week? Because we got some warriors, man. We got some real soldiers out here. Literally, we have a soldier from the trenches. I mean, the Reaper, a.k.a. Cedric Dumas, is going to be fighting in the early prelims in Las Vegas this Saturday at UFC 317. In late April, Dumas was booked on 5 charges, including felony home invasion, robbery without a firearm, misdemeanor battery, felony possession of a weapon by a convicted felon, felony possession of a controlled substance without prescription, and misdemeanor drug equipment possession. That is crazy, dog. This guy's fighting in the early prelims. What a savage. I mean, this makes, this guy's retirement look like a fucking cakewalk. You know what I'm saying? At least this guy's retired now and he has to deal with legal issues. This Cedric Dumas guy is still in the UFC fighting this weekend, even though in April he got booked for these 5 charges. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. There's something about UFC where they cannot make up their mind if they support an African American fighter who does some, unlawful things. They can't make up their mind. It's like, do we almost make it a thing, or do we try to steer away from that? It's kind of crazy. But anyways, before we get into the UFC 317 talk, happy retirement to John Jones. I do believe that it is kind of a bit of a shame that there is so much negativity around it, but I don't know how to say, it's just because of how Jon Jones and the UFC have approached this situation that makes the fans react to this so negatively. Because of course, the UFC fans want to have like the ultimate GOAT, and then, you know, a great retirement for the GOAT and all that, and no negativity, but it's just so much bullshittery that has unfortunately just, you know, covered up or overshadowed the retirement of an elite athlete, one of the most elite athletes in MMA in history. And yeah. But shout out to Jon Jones, and thank you. Thank you for the career you've had. All right, let's jump into the UFC 317 International Fight Week. So we got a lot. I mean, let's just, okay, real quick. I didn't have any bullet points, but there's some prelim fights that are also very, very fun, like my girl Tracy Cortez, you know, shit. Again, just simple distractions to keep my mind away from the imminent world war. Tracy Cortez, ooh, mamacita, with those impressive MMA assets. I'm talking about her hands, her skills, her technique. Oh yeah, she'll be able to distract me enough. I won't even call my parents if they just drop the nukes to Finland while I'm watching Tracy Cortez fight. I'm just gonna keep the TV on full blast, and that's that. You know, I'll die happy, man. All right. Tracy Cortez goes against Viviane Araujo. That's a matchup we have in the early prelims. We have Terrence McKinney also fighting a freaking Russian dude, so that should be a lot of fun. What else? Last prelim fight that we have is Jack Hermanson versus Gregory Rodriguez, aka RoboCop. Middleweight fight, big dudes, scary dudes. That should be a great way to segue us into the main card. And let's get into the main card. We have, starting it off, Peyton Talbot versus Felipe Lima. This is a men's bantamweight bout. Peyton Talbot was 3-0 starting his UFC career, and that looked very, very promising until he slightly got exposed at his most recent fight against an experienced Brazilian in Raoni Barcelos. So now, being 3-1, which is still not bad at all for the start of a UFC career. Now Peyton Talbot is matched up with a 27-year-old Felipe Lima, still Brazilian, but younger, skin is lighter. So there's those factors that help even out this matchup a little bit more for Peyton. And Felipe Lima is 2-0 in the UFC currently, so also very early stages in his UFC career. But I think this is an incredibly exciting matchup between two very fast, very technical, and also very young UFC fighters. Of course, very, very hyped to always see a little bit of support from, Frank Ocean. Frank Ocean is a supporter of Peyton Talbot. I do not know if Frank Ocean is going to be there watching the fight. I think Frank Ocean might skip this one. I'm sure his mind is actually concerned about, the Middle East conflict. However, Peyton Talbot got to lock in, and that's the whole thing. I'm very happy for Peyton Talbot for his UFC career start. Also, Felipe Lima. I've seen both of his fights. Very, very crispy, fast type of fighter. If I had to choose, I'll go Peyton Talbot, because I think Peyton Talbot has a bit of a reach advantage compared to Felipe Lima. I might not. Yes, he does. And with that being said, Peyton Talbot, let's just keep it on the feet. I'm a little bit concerned always if Felipe Lima also takes the slight grappling or clinch method. However, I think Peyton can deal with that, especially with another 27-year-old. So, bam, Peyton Talbot, I think by decision. I'm okay with that. Brandon Royval versus Joshua Van. This is a men's flyweight bout. Brandon Royval is ranked number 1 in the flyweight division, while Joshua Van is ranked number 11 in the flyweight division. This is a matchup to shake up the flyweight rankings. There probably is plenty background stuff that we don't know about. However, Brandon hasn't fought since October last year, while Joshua has fought 3 times since October last year. And this matchup that he has this upcoming weekend will be his 6th time in the octagon within 365 days. What the fuck, dude? This guy is 23 years old, dude. This guy is just a workhorse savage, I'm telling you. And at UFC 316, which was, 3 weeks ago, he had a hard-fought TKO in the 3rd round against a experienced Brazilian striker. Joshua Van is climbing the ranks like crazy. Staying insanely active. And it's really interesting because if this guy beats the number 1 contender, where does that put Joshua Van? I mean, does that almost put him in the top 5 as a 23-year-old? I mean, that would be insane, especially when you look at, the championship matchup that we have later on in the main card. I mean, this is some serious business, and this is a serious risk, I think, for Joshua Van, but he's stepping up to the occasion, and the UFC is pushing Joshua Van because, I mean, it is very inspiring just how hard he has been working the past year, and most likely years before that too. So, it was 3 weeks since the guy was in the octagon, and he was on a grueler matchup. I mean, it was a really back and forth striking matchup that he had at UFC 316, but now he's back UFC 317 main card against the number 1 contender in Brandon Royval. I'm sorry, there is no reason for me not to root for this guy. So Team Joshua Van, and if you win, buddy, please save some pussy for the rest of us, man. Jesus. Oh my God, this guy's a savage. All right. Now the final fight before we go into the co-main. In the main event, we have Beneil Dariush versus Renato Money Moicano. This is a men's lightweight bout. Beneil Dariush is ranked number 9 in the lightweight division, while Renato Money Moicano is ranked number 10 in the lightweight division. Let's just say this, all right? I'm not going to mince my words. Money Moicano is here for the money. Like the Jews. He's here for the money. Money Moicano. Okay? Money Moicano is probably one fight bonus away, like one performance of the night bonus or something like that. One fight bonus away from becoming a U.S. political influencer. So give me the money. Just give me the money. All right? I think he just came out with, like, you know, he got a freaking deal with a freaking, you know, crypto company, right? Hey, bro, this guy is the most wholesome guy while chasing the bag, bro. You will not find another man that chases the bag, but at the same time is so wholesome and gives back to the community. All right? Intelligent, but brutal. Money Moicano. All right? Seriously, like the Jews, man. He's too smart, and he's in it for the money. Give me the money. So, Money Moicano, let's do it, man. Let's get that submission on Beneil Dariush. Let's go. All right, co-main event. Ooh, baby, I've been waiting for this co-main event, even though, I mean, of course, the main event is insane. But this co-main event, we have Alexander Pantoja, who is the flyweight champion of the world, is going against Kai France, who is ranked number 4 in the men's flyweight division. This is for the flyweight belt. This is for the flyweight championship. I don't know what to tell you. Right? Okay, yes, Alexander Pantoja is arguably one of the most legit pound for pound fighters in the UFC. I mean, if anyone's like, you know, untouchable, it kind of seems like it's Alexander Pantoja. But I'm telling you, man, Kai Kara-France has been through so much adversity. And at the end of the day, he will still knock the fuck out of you. So I think, or my faith is in Kai Kara-France. And he is going to crack the uncrackable chin of Alexander Pantoja. The real hardest hitting 125er. I know people say Pantoja is the hardest hitting 125er. I'm telling you, Kai Kara-France is the hardest hitting 125er. When he connects, they don't fucking move. You know what I'm saying? Maori strength. All right, shout out to the guy. Shout out to the Maori people. And I think this is also going to be the way for City Kickboxing, the legendary MMA gym in New Zealand, to finally get the comeback. All right, they've been on a bit of a slump. Israel Adesanya struggle a little bit. You know, now we're going to get back. We're going to get back to it. All right. Look, listen, is this going to be a 5-round war? Probably. With the decision going to Pantoja? Probably. But if it doesn't go the distance, fuck, man. Either Pantoja lands just a beautiful body kick, kind of like Brandon Moreno did to Kai Kara-France, or Kai Kara-France is just gonna land, dude. He's got the heaviest hands in the flyweight division, man. Don't doubt the guy. Don't doubt the Maori strength, bro. So that's my pick for a co-main event. I know I sound delusional, but that's just what it is. It's just what it is. Main event. Oh my God, the main event. Charlie Dubron Oliveira. The champion has a name. That name is Charles Oliveira. Charles Oliveira, ranked number 2 in the lightweight division, goes against the former featherweight champion Ilia Topuria for the vacant lightweight championship belt. That's it. Ilia Topuria feels like he proved himself. He proved everyone wrong. He proved to the world that he is one of the greatest featherweight champs of all time, and he's done with it. He's young, he's ambitious, and he hates the weight cut. So he's going to move up one division. And with Islam Makhachev vacating the lightweight belt, then we have these two savages now fighting for the vacant belts. And Charles Oliveira is the guy. I personally think Charles Oliveira is absolutely, without a doubt, the guy to be fighting Ilia Topuria for the lightweight belt. Let's just say this. I haven't been this hyped for a fight in a very, very long time. I mean, just this matchup, there is no way it goes the distance. I cannot, I will not. All right, this is the World War III will not start. All right. If World War III starts, then fuck it, Charles do Bronx Oliveira, lightweight champion of the world. Look, I'm not a doubter. Charles do Bronx Oliveira is still in his prime. 35 years old, I don't care. He's still in his prime. Ilia Topuria, also in his prime. But he takes the risk in the way of going up one weight division. All right, to try to achieve the ultimate greatness. All right, high risk, high reward. Very high risk, very high reward. Right, it's very simple way to put Ilia Topuria's situation. And usually in every situation, I would, without a doubt, be Team do Bronx, of course. But right now, I think Ilia Topuria is taking the UFC by storm, and especially over here on the European side. This guy represents Europe, right? That's my whole thing. Just like I'm almost a little iffy about Tom Aspinall. I think Tom Aspinall more just represents the UK, right? And they pulled the Brexit, so we don't give a fuck anymore, right? You're not part of the Europeans. So if we're being realistic, if we want to have the ultimate big name, ultimate European champ, Ilia Topuria is the guy, right? And he's already been a champ. He's already been a champ at the featherweight division. What can he do at the lightweight division, which has always been the most exciting division in the whole UFC? That's that, right? And with that being said, when I look at this matchup, when I look at the, how it can play out and just the odds or, the advantages that the fighters have, yes, the age difference plays into a factor. Ilia Topuria, 28, Charles Oliveira, 35. There is a 7-year age difference there. 7 that's already kind of a significant amount of age difference. 7 ain't the same as like 5 or 4. No shit, Sherlock, but you know what I'm saying. And Ilia Topuria is gonna have a way easier weight cut than Charles do Bronx Oliveira. It's very well known that Charles Oliveira has a brutal weight cut to make 155 pounds, while Ilia Topuria, having made featherweight 145 pounds already multiple times, I think the 155 is going to be a walk in the park to make for Ilia Topuria. And I do think it's only going to make Ilia Topuria's knockout power even stronger. Not by like a hell of a lot, but still, it is going to make a difference. But I have to say, Charles Oliveira is so slippery. You can never like fully catch the guy. And so with that being said, it's either Charles Oliveira gets the submission within 3 rounds, because if this goes to grappling, I think Charles Oliveira physically has Ilia Topuria beat. But if they're standing, yes, Oliveira has a longer reach, but I still think standing, Ilia Topuria poses more of a threat. So it really depends on how much time we're going to spend on the ground or against the cage, right? Look, I honestly think the only way Ilia Topuria wins this if he like clean KOs Charles the Bronx Oliveira, which would be like genuinely fucking insane, right? Which would be genuinely insane. But I think a very likely outcome could be as well that Charles Oliveira gets stunned. He gets stunned by a shot from Ilia Topuria. They get close, they start grappling, and then Charles Oliveira, with his black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, all of a sudden freaking just wraps up Ilia Topuria and gets the submission. With that being said, like I said, it's where my heart is. I have Ilia Topuria knocking out Charles Oliveira within 3 rounds. That's it. That's it. I said it. Boom, bam, bang. World War III won't even have a chance. I don't care about World War III. I don't care about the global conflicts. I really don't. All I care about is the sports that is going down this weekend. That's it. We have Formula One in Austria. We have UFC 317 in Las Vegas. We have a MotoGP in the Netherlands, right? MotoGP was absolutely insane last weekend at Mugello in Italy. It was madness. And we have the Call of Duty World Championships. Just to add a little cherry on top of the cake, because I'm a nerd deep down. I'm a gamer, and the championships are going down in Ontario, Canada. I seriously don't know who is gonna win. If I had to pick one team that I wanted to win, I'd honestly say LA Thieves. But of course, I'm rooting for the Optic boys. I'm always rooting for also, like, who else is exciting? I mean, I really like the LA Thieves. I mean, it really is a super team, and it would be kind of cool for the super team to come in and win as well. So then it would be like phase 1 and Optic have won, and now LA Thieves get another one with a super team, But man, what a weekend we have up ahead. Like I told you at the beginning of the pod, this is my last week of work, and then I'm officially on summer holiday, and then we're going to have even more fun. We're going to ball out even more. But I'm telling you, in terms of this summer, hey, it might all go down this weekend, bro. So like I'm saying, let's pray for the world leaders. Let's pray for the people that are involved in these military conflicts. It's International War Week. That's it. We're going to war. That's it. One way or another, man. If the world doesn't go to war, then fuck it. These athletes are going to war, man. Just to bring us the best goddamn entertainment that anyone could ever hope for. I'm a Rexy Pukanikin. please stay hydrated, stay ballin', and praying. I will see you next week. Cheers. Bye.